Hello, boys and girls. This is Nona the Naturalist with Dana Wharf Whale Watching, and we're going to continue our theme of doing math lessons related to whales. Now, the other day we learned how to make a bar graph where we compare different types of groups. Today we are going to make a line graph, and a line graph shows change over time, and we're going to be talking about how the population of the gray whale has changed over time. You know, boys and girls, I like to call these whales the comeback kid, because in the 1800s and the early 1900s, these whales were almost hunted to extinction. There was a man by the name of Charles Scammon, and he found out where these whales migrate to, where the mothers would go down to give birth to their young. And so the whaling boats would go down there, and they would approach the babies and harpoon the babies. Now, they didn't care really about the babies. They were too little. They didn't have enough oil and blubber on them to be worth it to kill them. But if they harpooned the babies, the mothers would rush over very angry, trying to protect their babies, and then they could kill the mothers. And at that time, the whales became known as devilfish because they thought those mothers were so angry. I really like what our Captain Steve says. They should have been called angelfish because they were only trying to protect their babies. Well, along came 1947, and with the International Whaling Commission, gave these whales protection. And then in 1972, with the passing of the Endangered Species Act and the Marine Mammal Protection Act, it was totally impossible for these whales to be hunted. And now their numbers are up to over 27,000 or more. And if you travel down to those lagoons in Mexico nowadays, they actually like to approach the boat. And so now we call them the friendlies. So what we're going to do to make our line graph is we are going to plot some of the data of the cow-calf pairs that we're seeing in one lagoon, San Ignacio Lagoon. So I've gone to my favorite site again in Kids Zone here. It's called Create a Graph, and I've chosen to make a line graph. Now, I've already gone ahead and typed in that the title is going to be the population of cow-calf pairs in San Ignacio Lagoon. Now, my x-axis across the bottom, I'm going to put years because we're going to show change over time. And my y-axis is going to show the population. So I have some data I received from San Ignacio Lagoon, and I have it here on this chart. I've already gone and typed in the year and the number of cow-calf pairs. So the information I have on my computer is exactly the same as what I have in this chart. But let's see which one you like better. Look at it here. When I just look at these numbers, I don't recognize this dramatic drop in 2010 where they only saw 17 cow-calf pairs. And then the very next year, the number came back up to 59 cow-calf pairs. So what could a scientist do, or what could you do when you see numbers like this? I can think of a lot of questions. Why was the number so low in 2007? Why did it start to build up to 2009? Why did it take that big drop? And when I look here, don't you just want to know what happened in 2014, 15, 16, 17? Well, maybe you can go online and get the data and see, did this number continue to stay high or has it dropped again? So again, one of the reasons we use a graph is because it gives us a visual representation of our data. Now, if you really want to know about the population of gray whales today, I really want to encourage you to just type in your computer gray whale census. And what's going to come up is the census that they're doing up at Point Vicente, which is up near Los Angeles, California. And a friend of Dana Wharf Whale Watching, Alyssa Schulman-Jagger, has been in charge, Alyssa, has been in charge of this for years. And they have so much data as their volunteers sit outside and count all the whales on their southbound migration and all the whales on their northbound migration. So if you get some of the data from Point Vicente, you could make your own line graph. Have a great day, boys and girls. Aren't you glad that our gray whale's been protected and that it's even been removed from the Endangered Species Act, and that it's now so well protected and thriving in our waters. Have a good day. Bye-bye.